brought up that 50 most overrated players in the NBA, which sparked a thought that I had about two particular players that I kind of view them both as overrated in a way, which is Carmelo Anthony and Tracy McGrady.
Because you hate Melo.
I don't hate Melo, man.
You have a strong disdain for Melo.
Yeah, I mean, it's all based on fantasy stats, though. He lost me a couple of fantasy seasons because he was sitting out with hangnails and shit. But, other than that, it's water under the bridge. I'm not tripping.
Yo, have you ever tried to do a step back with a hangnail, dude? It's like impossible.
Oh, man. But, all right. So we talked about just Melo versus Mac and who had the better career. I guess there's two questions here. There's who is the better player, and there's who had the better career.
Ooh, yeah. All right. So who was the better player? Mac was the better player to me. Slightly better on defense. Offensive monster, could score at will. Outside of his injury-riddled years, could pretty much give anybody he wanted to the business at a flip of the switch.
Except Kobe.
I mean, he even gave Kobe fits sometimes, but R.I.P. Mamba.
He always gave Kobe fits, man. I was just repping for my guy.
I know you have to. I mean, hey, he tried. He dunked on my guy. He dunked on Dirk, even though Dirk did give him 40. But that's right. I got to root for the big German, man. But anyway, I do think Mac is the better player. But I think Carmelo had the better career. And by career, I'm counting everything, including college. I know it's unfair because Mac didn't go, but still, we're talking career and body of work. And I would say that Melo probably had the better career.
Okay. What you think, Tease?
That's just so tough, because I grew up watching both of these cats, and again, it goes off of like who has rings and who doesn't argument. If T-Mac wasn't
that's
hurt,
the easy one here.
If T-Mac wasn't hurt, yeah, right. I'm just saying, it's so.
Please tell me we're not counting that Spurs ring. Really, we are not counting that Spurs ring.
He didn't get a Spurs ring. He was there.
I know. I'm just saying, like when we do like the LeBron versus Jordan argument, like, he has this many rings. Like, okay, I'm not counting rings. I'm counting who is better. And right. You could take this aspect of their game compared to this, and then this player is going to be better. Or you can take this aspect and that aspect. But overall, Mac had the higher ceiling. Like, I feel like if he wasn't hurt, he could have possibly gotten a ring or two. Possibly.
In the right situation.
I'm reevaluating these teams. It would have took – you're right situation. You would have had to have a healthy Mac, healthy Grant Hill.
Ron Artest. Like that, I think that Rockets team was probably his best legitimate shot if they were all healthy at the same time.
Yep. Yeah. And he played there, 5 years? Maybe like 5 years? Maybe 6?
Something 4 or 5, something. Maybe 6. I don't know. But he was hurt for a lot of it.
At least a year and a half of that.
And what's crazier is, two of the greatest players, like, top 50 players of all time, Shaq and Kobe, both have been on paper saying that, Kobe has said that T-Mac gave him fits. He was one of the toughest players to play against. Mm-hmm. Shaq has said that Yao is one of the toughest players he's ever had to play against. Let's say these guys were always healthy and stayed healthy. I'm not saying they're going to win, but they'd always be in the conversation of being
absolutely
one of the greatest teams ever. But, those injuries ruined them. And to me, I feel like Melo had a fairly healthy career.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is so tough if you look at how different their game is. And, post could kill. I mean, Melo could kill you in the post, and he could kill you on the outside. T-Mac could kill you driving in. He could kill you from anywhere. Like, he was just so different and so aggressive.
He could snatch your heart in 30 seconds. We saw
right. He could score 13 in a few seconds. And And I haven't seen Melo score 13, but I mean, again, I feel like Mac had the package to be a better player, and to me, he was a better player. But career-wise, like you say, Melo held it together a little longer than T-Mac did. So I mean, it's a tough argument to be had. I mean, if I'm looking at it career-wise, and Melo's still playing and he's still producing, not as he
Melo
was
in his
before.
18th season right now, so
And he's still out there getting buckets. Melo.
Is Melo a product of his peer group? Like, do we judge him more harshly because of the draft class?
I don't think so.
No.
Because that draft class was pretty lit.
Yeah, it was, except Darko Milicic being in that mix, but
I mean, there's got to be a fuck up in the mix. I mean, there's a team that drafted
there's always a Sam Bowie, right?
Right. There's a team that drafted Sam Bowie over Jordan, and that same team drafted Greg Oden over KD. So I mean, yeah.
But they took Darko over Melo and Wade. Oh no. Melo went second. Wade went fourth. They just took him over Wade.
No, hold on. I think you might be right. I think Darko went over.
I thought Darko went second, but I can't.
LeBron went first. Darko went second. LeBron went first. Darko went second. Melo went third.
Then Wade.
Chris Bosh went fourth.
Really?
And then Wade, if I'm not mistaken.
That's either way. That's nasty.
Let's look it up. 2003 draft.
All right. So while you looking that up, I did some research, so I got the numbers here, and to my surprise, it actually is not as close as I thought it was. Like, when it comes to the numbers, well, statistically anyway, like Melo is actually pretty superior on most levels.
Except for scoring.
No, scoring.
No, scoring.
Points per
he
game?
didn't win as many scoring titles, but Melo's...
Are you looking at points per game or total points?
Both. Melo, for his career, averages 23.6 points per game. Mac only averaged 19.6. Didn't even average 20 points per game for his career. Melo got him in rebounds, like 6.5 to 5.6, and Mac has the advantage in assists, 4.4 to 2.9. Slight advantage in steals and a slight advantage in blocks. So Mac was pretty much better in like all of the intangible areas, but scoring and rebounding, like Melo has a significant advantage. And for his career, Melo scored about 8,000 more points than T-Mac, and he's still going.
Yeah, he also played longer, and
two seasons though.
Well, I mean, of those 2 seasons, I mean, we look at Mac's career again. How many of those seasons in Mac's career was he actually playing?
Right. So I get the totals. That makes sense because Mac probably missed about 2 to 3 seasons of his 16 as a whole, if you factor in
a lot of which might have been a lot of which was in his prime.
Yeah, definitely.
But
that brings up a good argument too. In his prime, did he ever play a full season?
Yes, I actually get one of the other things that I did is I looked at what their both of their best overall season was. So, in Melo's best season, he averaged 27, 8, and 3, and then like a block and a steal and a block. Mac averaged 32, 6.5, 5.5, almost 2 steals and a block. So as far as ceiling, that speaks to what you were saying. Like Mac's ceiling was higher. Like his best season is better than Melo's best season. Yeah. He also won the scoring title twice, averaging over 30 points a game. And Melo won it once, averaging 28.7 was his highest scoring average of any season. So, yeah. I mean, I think that you kind of hit the nail on the head that Mac had the higher ceiling, but Melo was more consistent, I think, throughout the course of his entire career. As far as like all-star appearances, I compared the accolades to Melo has 10, Mac had 7. Mac was a 7-time All NBA team selection, 2 times first team, 3 times second team, 2 times third team. Melo has never made All NBA first team. Now maybe that's because he's always been a peer of LeBron James.
That's what. Yeah.
But there's 2 forward slots, so I can't completely attribute it to that. But he made second all team twice and third 4 times. So he has 6 selections.
That's surprising that he never made first team. That's actually very surprising.
Yeah, never. Not once.
It's tough. I mean, think about the years he was playing. I mean, 2 forward slots. LeBron's been there all the time. Tim Duncan's been there the most of the time, too. KG.
Right.
Dirk.
Yeah, Dirk. That's what I'm saying. There was a lot of good forwards out there during his era.
And that's tough. I mean, if you put those players in a pool, I'm not selecting Melo to build my team around if I had to. And, it makes it tough for him to make that role. Does that take away from his game and how good he was? I mean, no, not to me. But, I'm selecting those guys over Melo. So, I mean, it's a tough process. I mean, no reason he should have made second or third.
Right.
Consistently.
But I would also say that, like, as far as the opportunities to win, like, I think that Melo's best team was better than Mac's best team.
Yeah.
Like, that Denver squad that he had with Nene and
are we talking about best team as far as performance or best team as far as potential? Because talent. Mac's best team with Yao and all them cats. That man, come on.
Yao and all them cats. That's the key word. Like
that's true. But are we putting Nene and them in the same category as Yao, Artez?
No, but listen. I mean, all right. Melo had Chauncey. He had there was J.R. Smith was on that team. Aaron Aflalo was on that team. I mean, then he had AI.
He had an old AI.
Nah, AI fresh out of Philly. AI wasn't washed yet.
I didn't say he was washed. I said he was old.
I mean, whatever. Well, I mean, he was in his early 30s. He wasn't. He wasn't.
Man, early 30s is like 45 in athlete years.
I mean, that's how old Mac was in Houston.
But he got a couple years off, like in the cooling chamber because he was hurt,
But either way, like I said, I think his team was just overall better put together.
They had a good coach too.
Yeah, George Karl.
They had a better coach. I think
also may have played a role because Melo and George Karl didn't really mesh. They had their issues.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I want to double back on something to give you the
the draft.
I can give you the draft. I'll give you the top. We'll just say 8. Number 1, obviously LeBron. 2, Darko. 3, Carmelo. 4, Chris Bosh. 5, D Wade. 6, Chris Kaman. 7, Kirk Heinrich. 8, TJ Ford.
I mean, that was a solid draft.
Even if they would have selected Chris Kaman over Darko, they would have been all right. I mean, Chris Kaman wasn't the best, but he definitely produced more than Darko.
They would have been better off, right?
Chris Kaman, there's a game that a coworker of mine always have. It's unsung fantasy heroes, and we come up with these random names of players that came through clutch in fantasy. And Chris Kaman was one of them. Chris Kaman wasn't the nicest, but he would definitely go out there and get you like a good 8 boards, a good maybe 13 points on a good night. Like, oh,
a block and a half.
Yeah, this guy's going in there getting me some stat filler. We always had these unsung hero games, with these random nobodies that would come.
Andrea Bargnani.
Yeah, that was one of them. Andre dreads just out of nowhere with that gel hair back.
Oh man!
But I mean, speaking of that Nuggets team, I was taking a quick look at it. If you were to match this up with Mac's best team, it'd be tough because you had Melo, Chauncey. I'm just gonna throw Anthony Carter out there just because I think it's funny. AI, Kmart.
No, I don't think were Chauncey and AI there at the same time. I thought.
Yeah.
That's crazier. Then to me, that's even crazier.
Let me see, and then
Nene.
They had Aaron Aflalo. They had J.R. Smith. You know, like they had
Aaron Aflalo was a solid defender, on the ball defender. Could give you 18 in a night.
Nene. I thought there was another. They had another big, and I can't think of who it was right now.
But could any of them deal with a healthy Yao in his prime?
Who's the? I gotta figure out who the other big was. See, the thing about Yao though is like you
Birdman.
could who?
Birdman.
Okay, yeah, Chris Anderson.
Yeah.
Yep.
Forgot about Birdman.
Well, they got. I mean, T-Mac's Houston Rocket team had. I'm just gonna go down the list. Ray Ferguson. I mean, whether they produce or not, I'm just saying overall because they're just here. I'm not gonna pick through them. Shane Battier, which was he was really good at that around that time.
I forgot Shane was on that squad.
Aaron Brooks, Steve Francis.
Aaron Brooks. Man.
Chuck Hayes. Chuck Hayes was low key, a nice little piece for them.
Unsung hero.
Chuck Hayes was a 6'5" center.
Yeah,
I could never.
He's still getting bored and boxing dudes out.
Right.
Bobby Jackson, Carl Landry, T-Mac, Yao.
Oh, I hated that team.
Kemba Mutombo was a backup.
Yeah, I hated that team, man.
Luis Scola.
Scola, Aaron Brooks, and Carl Landry. Those three guys used to give the Lakers fucking fits. I used to hate them.
They were savvy under the basket.
Yeah.
They were undersized and they were savvy under the basket.
That's
closer than I thought then.
If I had to put my money on it, I'd give it to Houston.
Yeah, that's closer than I thought.
In a 1v1, I think Mac and company bust Melo in the ass.
I mean, Yao alone will bust Nene's or Birdman's ass. Like Yao was a beast. Like, he was just, if he would have stayed healthy, he probably would have. I'm not saying he'd be better than Shaq, but he would have defined. Not defined, but he was just something else. Like the way that he stretched the floor. Not sure the things or anything, but he could shoot that mid range. He was 7'12". All you have to do is turn around and shoot the ball over the guy. Like he was
right.
Crazy.
And he wasn't a clumsy to be as big as he was. He wasn't clumsy. He had good feet. Yeah. Nice soft shot. He could pass the ball. Good defender. You couldn't bully him around. And also what I look at with that matchup, if you go down Denver's roster, who's gonna D Mac? Who's gonna D up Mac?
Aflalo. Aaron Aflalo's a solid defender. I mean, I'm not saying you're gonna stop Tracy McGrady. Like, Tracy McGrady's gonna do what he does. You gotta kind of live with that.
Yeah. McGrady is gonna average a point every half a minute in that game.
I feel like Shane Battier will give Melo more trouble than Aflalo would T-Mac.
I agree.
Shane Battier is a jerk. I'm not saying that, again, he's not stopping Melo, but I feel like he'll give Melo more fits and make him pass the ball up a little more. Based on Melo's game, I think he's going to make him pass it up a little more.
And Melo's always been a little fluffy, so he probably ain't going to play the full game anyway. He's going to have to get some breathers here and there.
I was going to say it's another reason why I feel he was so healthy, because he could absorb some hits. He didn't, that
fluffiness was for a reason.
He didn't play super physical to abuse his body. So, I mean, that's why he got away with being so fluffy for so long.
Man.
So, who won Houston though? Like, one thing I noticed about that Houston squad, like their point guard was Aaron Brooks. Aaron Brooks ain't doing that with Chauncey. I mean, I like Aaron Brooks, but
I'm trying to remember what 2009 Steve Francis looked like as far as a player.
Kind of like those pictures that you see of him laying in the street now.
In the club, in the middle of the dance club, just pouring champagne on himself.
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, Denver's point guards would have gave Houston's point guards fits.
We'll look right now and see what his stats are looking like.
They would have gave them fits. I mean, Skip, as much as, I respect and love the playground legend, he wasn't doing he wasn't doing nothing with those cats.
You know what though? The funny thing about him is Orlando, when he played for Orlando that year that they made it to the finals, the biggest mistake that they made in that series was taking him out the lineup and putting Jameer back in.
Jameer that's another player that was overrated for a while to me, but that's just my opinion. And I root for the little guy. I'm anytime a short dude is putting in work, I'm standing on a chair with him like, yo. But
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Jameer Nelson. I think he is an overall better player than Skip, but he was hurt for the whole playoffs. You know,
I can't even say that Jameer is better than Skip. Man.
And then you take Skip out, who was an integral part in helping you get to the finals, to put Jameer back into the starting lineup, and it threw off the whole chemistry. Man, they got smashed.
Yeah, you're right about that.
To answer your question, Brock, 07-08, C. Francis was 31. He only played 10 games, and he averaged 5.5 points. So he was doing.
So any one of us could have played and had a similar stat line.
Yeah.
I'd like to believe if I get in 10 games in a season, I could pull off 5 a game. Hopefully.
I'm not going to lie to myself.
Look, you said fuck this shit.
Whatever, put me. I'll get a quick 3 fouls in 1 minute.
Right. Man, I'm just gonna drive to the hole and get fouled. I'm the smallest dude on the floor. I can at least make 5 free throws.